Hello, my name is Charles Benson. I play in the band Conquered Flesh. We're a local band from the Dallas-Fort Worth area, so if you're watching this on YouTube, you've probably never heard of us unless you get on my user account and, look at my channel and find our videos. I'm showing off my rig, and then I'm going to, demonstrate what it sounds like. This right here is a Marshall MG15 DFX. I use it as a power amp because my preamp is a Digitech GN1 pedal. It's an old pedal from the early part of this decade, but nevertheless, it's a great pedal. I got it back in '04 actually as a graduation gift, and then it died in 2005 because the volume knob kind of just melted off, so to speak. Got it fixed up at the early part of this year, and I've been using it ever since. This Marshall was modified. It has a extension cab output built by my stepbrother because he's a freaking genius. This is a switch for external or default, turns it, the input or output on and off. This thing, believe it or not, will actually get really loud on stage, but only with this cab. Without the cab, this thing doesn't get very loud. Sounds like crap. Because of this 8-inch speaker. It's a horrible speaker, but I mean, it's a practice amp. Not anymore though, I've got it modified, but that 8-inch speaker doesn't sound that great, and it doesn't do this amp justice. But these 412 cab actually gets me nice and loud on stage. It gets really loud on stage actually, and it sounds amazing, but only because of the setup or whatever. But anyways, enough chat on that. I'm about to show off the sounds that this pedal produces, but before I do that, a lot of people complain that these digital pedals just sound like crap when you put them through a live amp. Well, there's a reason for that. There's different output frequencies, and if you press the utility button and press this arrow right here, this thing will say instrument 412. That means the frequency is a lot stronger, has a lot more presence, and it's, for like the clean input of a 412. Although I actually go through the CD input of this Marshall, because I find when you put two preamps together, it just sounds like crap, sounds balls, too much extra EQ, extra clipping, sounds horrible. You get the most presence in the setting, go to effects 412, but really I don't like the way it sounds. It's a little too trebly, and it sounds kind of fried. So we go to instrument 412. I use cabinet simulation because out of my experiments with this pedal, I find it sounds best. But to each his own. If you don't want to use cabinet simulation through a digital pedal when you go through a live amp, hey, that's cool too. But I find it sounds the best. I'm also not the biggest fan of these speakers in this B52 cab. They're not bad per se, but they're just not voiced very good. They're very generic sounding. But I mean, what do you expect for a $300 cab? But still, this thing's got a lot of bottom into it, and it gets really loud. So I use the Mesa Boogie Dual Rectifier model as my main distorted sound on this pedal, and I use what they call the British 412, was actually based on a Marshall cab with T70s, not T75s. I actually did my research, and Digitech said it's based on a cab with T70s. I don't know the difference. Maybe there's 5 watts less of power in the speakers model. And my clean setting is the green channel, and it's based on 65 twin reverb. That is the clean channel that I use on this pedal. Now, I guess I'll demonstrate some sounds of this thing real fast. And they're not going to sound perfect compared to the real amps that they're modeling, but I mean, they're digital. I would actually possess these real amps if I had money and a job and wasn't in $1,000 worth of debt, but that's another story. But now, to demonstrate what this pedal can do. This right here is a 1980s Squier Stagemaster, or you could actually know, I looked it up online, it's actually called a Squier E-Series Heavy Metal Strat or something. And this one's custom because it's got a DiMarzio Evolution, which is the pickup that Steve I uses, which I think that's pretty cool. But this guitar really doesn't look like your typical Squire. It looks more like an Ibanez. But enough with the chatter. This is my main sound that I use on stage, or I'm going to start using on stage, because I find it sounds best out of all the settings I've created. Guitar strap came loose. Note to self, buy strap locks. Anyways, that's a chunky rhythm tone. I kick on some delay, get a nice solo sound. That's just a little bit of lead. Not extremely warmed up, so don't expect me to sound the greatest right now, but you get a basic idea of what a nice lead tone sounds like. What's cool about this pedal is you can turn your effects on and off in a preset, so you really don't have to ever switch presets, which is kind of, you know, a plus for me. It's like having basically a bunch of stomp boxes. And this is the clean setting. I kick on the chorus and the delay. And this is a good clean sound. I'm using the 65 twin reverb model, like I said, with a British 412 cabinet model, they call it, which is basically a Marshall cab. Alright, in this next setting is my attempt at a Van Halen type tone, because you can warp the amp models on this pedal and make your own amp models. To get anything good, you have to spend hours tweaking. But this is my attempt at a 5150-ish type sound. My attempt of a 5150 kind of sound. I don't know how close I actually got, but I've done a lot of comparisons, and my dad has also done some of the comparisons with me, and he says I've come close. So